Hello, welcome to Outer Marker Reviews. Today we're going to be discussing and also kind of going down the philosophical route of a underappreciated and kind of uncommon watch. Now, if you've been a follower of my channel, you know I'm really a huge fan of the Omega Seamaster, and I have the black dial variant. Well, I've been wearing it as you would imagine, and I'm sure you would too if you had the watch, or if you do, I'm sure you wear it frequently as well. And my family members like it and notice it, and my dad actually happened to enjoy the watch so much that he purchased one as well, and he actually went with the two-tone model here. And this draws kind of an interesting topic. Why do people not buy two-tone watches? Is it because it's out of fashion? Is it because it's more expensive? I don't know, but I'm telling you, the two-tone Seamaster, if you haven't seen it in person, it's not only gorgeous, it's one of the most dynamic watches that I've seen. The dial can go anywhere from a black to a aquamarine blue. The gold accents really almost make this the ultimate high-low watch. Now, not to rip off Hodinkee, but they had a video, I think, that came out about 2 years ago where they had the white dial variant of the Seamaster, and they called that the ultimate high-low, meaning you could wear it, you know, with a tuxedo, not that it necessarily is appropriate, and you could also wear it to the gym. Well, I think the two-tone, this is the real ultimate high-low watch. It's smart. The precious metal component of the gold gives it kind of a intrinsic value and uniqueness that make it something you could wear at a much more formal setting. Not that one, it's a dive watch, not that that's appropriate, but you could do it, and I think it wouldn't be a huge faux pas. And it's sporty enough too, because it has the steel component and it has the blue dial, which is just incredibly dynamic. And this is a watch that you could wear in 10 different environments, and it's going to look unique each time. If you saw the video I made with the steel dial Oyster Perpetual 36 I have, I talked about how that watch tends to be unique in the sense that the dial can pick up the ambient light, and it could really change and make different versions of the physical watch that you're wearing. And this sounds kind of like confusing to visualize, but say you walk into a room and the walls are blue, and you look down at your steel dial Oyster Perpetual, well, it picks up obviously the blue, and it can make the watch really look differently than in, say, a brown room or a tan room. This watch is just as dynamic with the color of the dial. If you're in direct sunlight, it can be this incredible aquamarine, almost like this Lopez ball I have. It almost can be this color, but then if you're in a darker room, it looks like a midnight black. Really, really unique. I took numerous photographs as well as macro pictures of the physical watch itself. If you are considering the Seamaster and you haven't yet actually gone and checked one of these out from an AD or from just a local watchmaker that perhaps has one in stock, you're kind of missing out, because this is not something people are talking about on YouTube or really any social media outlets that I'm aware of. Granted, I'm a bit of a hermit. I don't interact too much on any social media. This is it for me, is YouTube. This is my only social media that I use. But from my knowledge of the watch community, these two-tone models are not something that's really well expressed and loved amongst watch enthusiasts, and I think that is kind of for worse. This is something incredibly unique. The gold tone, so this is the yellow gold, it doesn't look bronze, but it has some of that earthy characteristic that I think attracts a lot of people to a bronze dive watch as well. I don't foresee that this is going to patina. Obviously it's gold, it's never going to patina, so it's always going to have that newer kind of luster to it, but the warmth that you get out of the gold adds a lot more character than if it was just an all steel dive watch. Until you physically try one of these on, I think it's very easy to have an opinion about the watch, but wearing it on wrist, seeing how it maybe interacts with your skin complexion or your favorite type of outfits, this is way more of a dynamic watch than you would imagine. One of the things I really don't like about the watch, and essentially everything I've said about the Seamaster holds true for this. I mean, it's a gorgeous watch, beautiful workmanship, but this is the same issue that I noticed actually on my steel Seamaster that I forgot to even bring up. But you have the two-tone polished links going down the middle, and then if you get to the half link, it's nice they include the half link, but you'll see that it's just all brushed steel. It doesn't have any of the gold, and in my variant that I have, which is the steel bracelet, it doesn't even have the polished inner links like you would see on the rest of the band. So that does detract from the fit and finish overall. The band, or I should say the bracelet, still has some edges that are, I would not necessarily call them sharp, but I would say that they're not as smooth as they could be. The movement is the same. It's the caliber 8800 that you get in any other Seamaster. It doesn't have the two-tone rotor like you might see on some of the other Omegas. It's just your classic Omega movement. I'll include macro shots as well. Really impressed with how this watch looked. The bezel is very unlike the bezel I have on my black dial Seamaster, where you can actually see that the Arabic numerals, I don't know if this is the liquid metal technology that Omega has or what they actually did to create this effect, but I'll show a comparison of the bezel on my Seamaster versus this one, and you'll notice the Arabics are much more appropriately filled. They're perfect. Everything about this watch under a macro lens is perfect. I haven't been able to see any kind of flaws. It's gorgeous. There were some things I noticed on mine though, with the enamel filled Arabics. There's almost little tiny pinprick bubbles going around the bezel. So you didn't have any of that with this watch. It's just been beautifully finished. The macro shots really speak for themselves. So I'll show a couple photographs and video that I took of the watch under a high-powered lens and let you come to your own conclusion. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed kind of my 2 cents on the two-tone Seamaster and two-tone watches in general. They easily get discredited because, you know, the loudest guy on the YouTube comment box or on the Reddit group or whatever says that two-tone watches look like they're from the 80s. Well, that's not really a relevant opinion if you see a watch like this in person. I think it's a beautiful combination of a precious metal with a robust characteristic that you get from steel. It creates a unique dynamic where you could wear the watch with smart attire or you could wear it casually. And if it's not something you've seen yet or checked out firsthand, you're doing yourself a disservice.